Man attacked by dogs, unexpectedly saved by exploding phone in his pocket. This is from Oddity Central. A Brazilian man savagely attacked by two large dogs claims he is only alive thanks to the explosion of his phone in his pocket. Having your phone explode in your pants pocket is almost never a good thing, but in very specific situations, it can literally be a lifesaver. Case in point, a bizarre story from Cascavel in Brazil's Parana state, where a local man named Ronaldo was recently attacked by two dogs on his way to work. A car mechanic by training, Ronaldo was walking to his workplace earlier this month when he was intercepted by two large dogs. Before he could even realize the kind of danger he was in, the man was fending off the vicious canines and fighting for his life. Here is a picture of the phone. It is important to know that the batteries in the phone, if they're punctured, are actually explosive. So this is one of those cases where that battery was punctured, and indeed that is what happened. Continuing with the story, one of them went for my throat. I hit it, but then it tried to bite my leg, but it only caught the phone in my pocket and the battery exploded. It was dangerous, but it saved me. It was bizarre, Ronaldo recalled. This phone was only 20 days old, but it saved my life. The phone explosion burned through the young mechanic's shorts and caused burns to his leg. But it also surprised the aggressive dogs, which bought Ronaldo valuable time. He was able to get away and call the police. Despite the life-threatening ordeal, the Brazilian man decided not to press charges against the dog's owner because they had apologized to him for the incident and agreed to cover both the cost of his medical treatments and the damaged smartphone. So that is really an interesting story. I definitely have heard about aggressive dogs and loose dogs in Brazil. My mother actually was bit by a dog when she was visiting Brazil, and it sounded like a very sketchy ordeal. All right, next news story, also from Oddity Central. 10-year-old boy sues father for spending his savings without his consent. A Chinese man was taken to court by his 10-year-old son for spending the boy's savings without his consent and refusing to pay him back. The story was whispered into existence by Spooky. Thank you, Oddity Central. This story is from Oddity Central. Chinese social media was recently outraged by the case of Zhao Hui, a 10-year-old boy from the Zhengzhou in Henan province, northern China. He was left with no choice but to sue his own father in order to get his savings back. The father had opened a bank account for Zhao Hui and had deposited the boy's so-called red envelope money over the years. But he took it all out one day and spent it on his wedding without Zhao Hui's consent. After his parents divorced 2 years ago, Zhao Hui continued to live with his father, who routinely deposited his Lunar New Year's gifts, commonly known as red envelope money, and other savings into his bank account. However, at one point the father met another woman and decided to remarry, at which point Zhao Hui was sent to live with his mother. After Zhao Hui's father remarried, the 10-year-old's birth mother somehow found out that her ex had withdrawn all of their son's savings and used them to cover wedding expenses. By that time, Zhao Hui had saved over 80,000 yuan, that's 11,700 US dollars, a rather significant amount for a boy of his age. When Zhao Hui confronted his father and asked for his savings, he was told that the money had come mostly from his family and friends, and that he intended to return it only when Zhao Hui had reached adulthood. After several attempts to reason with his father, Zhao Hui took his father to court. Despite the father's attempts to convince the judges that he was within his right to manage Zhao Hui's savings as he saw fit, and that the entire lawsuit had been instigated by the boy's mother, the court ruled that the gift money legally belonged to Zhao Hui and his personal property, and that his father infringed on it, despite being the boy's legal guardian. In its ruling, the court decided Zhao Hui's father to return all the boy's savings, including the interest, which amounted to 82,750 yuan.